Neck snapping fun can come in different equations, sometimes in a two-door and sometimes, well, in an SUV. Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson. Now behind me is a full throttle model, the 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the SRT. The wow factor for the SRT is really front and center. First thing is the red exterior. Now it's a candy apple red, really blazing, almost like lipstick going down the road. Now what I like is we really minimize chrome because this is a sleek vehicle. You don't want to bling it out, you want to look slick. The way they do that is in all the black accents and kind of that brushed lower rims we'll get to in a second. Now when you sweep down the vehicle, pretty much straightforward Grand Cherokee, a little bit more wow factor, but that whole front end totally different. Swinging around to the front end, first thing you'll notice is really that true grille warfare, and heck, even the hood warfare. Most times you're going to find plain Jane here, but instead nice sculpting with, of course, these air intakes that also allow this engine to breathe. Now when you sweep down here, really a broad black accent all the way across that grille, that typical Jeep grille across here. Menacing headlights protrude just a little bit, but really grimacing down the road. Now as you sweep down, pretty much body color all the way around this vehicle, and as you go down, this is typical kind of that street racing, really sweeping down lower fascia and pretty much giving you a lot of wow factor. Diving in a little bit closer to the grille, first thing you'll notice again is the airflow. Lots of ports everywhere you look, allowing this air to get in this oversized engine right through here, down low, and even down here on the sides. Typically that's just going to be an adornment, but truly operational. Now what I really like again is this lower kick and flare. Now one thing you'll notice, someone asked, what's that headlight doing in the middle? Actually, that's the adaptive radar control, the safety features we've seen in a lot of Jeep Grand Cherokees and to be expected on this vehicle as well. Giving you grip at the corners is first the four-wheel drive, but second, the nice wrapped 20-inch wheels, specifically in Pirelli 295 45s. Now what you're going to notice is the rims themselves are brushed accent, no chrome here, no blinging out. They're also very open face, which allows you to see all that operation going on in there, specifically those nice red brake calipers. One thing to talk about is the exterior color. Now this is the red line, and it basically is only available here on the SRT and the Trailhawk edition. Now by the overall numbers, it's still the same, 189 inches overall, wheelbase around about 114. Some numbers that are different is the overall height and the ground clearance, both just a couple clicks different than the standard model. Even with so much muscle under the hood, one thing you want to do is have a little bit more relaxation when it comes to getting in the vehicle. Now this is the good old smart key system, pretty much keep it in your pocket and forget about it. Now what I like is this is kind of the more innovative approach. Pretty much take your hand right here, it's going to sense it and unlock the vehicle. Of course there's a button to lock it back up. Now one added area of security is right back here at the fill-up area, and what I like is this is always secure. Regardless of how the vehicle is, it is always that way. One level of protection. The way you open this up, of course, is the button on the inside pops open, and what's great is it's the capless system, making fill-ups so much quicker. No matter how you dress this vehicle up, how pretty you want to make it or mean on the outside, one thing you want to see is right here under the hood, and the way to get there, of course, is with a little bit of lever and an ease up. Now I like the fact that this is hydraulically lifted, makes this area so much easier to get to. Now looking at the numbers, what you're going to see here is a 6.4 liter Hemi V8 engine. Now of course those numbers all go well together and basically mean a powerhouse. Now looking at the numbers, what you're going to see is around about 475 horsepower and 470 foot-pounds of torque. Now this is coupled with an automatic transmission we'll get to in a second, and those 0 to 60 numbers are even better and make you want to drool. As for 0 to 60 numbers, you're going to get there pretty fast. Again, this is SUV, so how fast do you get there? Well, 0 to 60 is going to be around about 4.8 seconds. Now if you want to go 0 to 100 and then back to 0, that's going to be in the mid 16-second range. As for quarter mile, that's going to be just over 13 seconds. All that combined pretty much means you're going to have some kind of neck snapping fun and really want to hold on tight. Climbing into the SRT is, after all, what you perspire to be, because you're going to have to work hard to earn this vehicle, and last thing you want to do is be the one standing at the curb watching it go by. Now once you climb inside in this particular model, first thing you'll notice has to be the leather suede combination seats, specifically in this kind of brown accent. Now I'm kind of a fan of this, but could this get a little bit dated over the years? Possibly, but I do think it's a trend setter. What I also like is the overall legroom numbers. Up front, around about 40 inches. In the back, only a couple inches less. pretty much meaning you're going to find comfort all the way around. If you've been in a few Chrysler products, the first thing you'll notice really in this model is the Uconnect System, specifically the 8.4-inch screen. Now everything pretty much is housed right here with very minimal buttons for navigating. Everything else is pretty much on the touchscreen system. Now there is no true home button, but instead all the shortcuts are down here below. Now what I like is this is fairly easy to use. Even better is the dual knobs below, one equally sized for volume and tune select. Now what you're going to find is all the various options. Climate control, you do of course have Wi-Fi option if you need it. I also like this area specifically. Basically heated seats, cooled seats, heated steering wheel. What's even better is this vehicle, if you remote start it, you can have these settings set, pretty much meaning on this cold day, this vehicle remote started, had the heated seats on and the heated steering wheel, making it so much more comfortable. Looking down the dash just a little bit, you'll find the climate control and again ease of operations. First thing is the dual climate settings, allowing you to dial in your specific setting for your temperature. Nice oversized fan speed, because to me that's the most important thing. Other modes are found around it. Now what you're going to find down here is different parking and sensor systems. What you see here is the parking assist. We didn't use that much, but it is there if you want to use it. Lane departure, a Tonneau on, which I'd probably avoid on this vehicle, and traction control on and off. Now one thing to note with this four-wheel drive model and pretty much all the sensors in it, I found it very hard to even spin the wheels. To help declutter any vehicle, one thing you need is nice little niches hidden under covers, and that's what you see here. Now what you have is a nice area for your phone and connectivity, auxiliary jack, USB, and of course a power supply. Now one area that's not going to have decluttering, well, is the cup holders. They're always front and center. Would be nice to have a nice cover here to hide them well when they get dirty. Once you get past the fit and trim, one area you want to spend some of your time is the driving dynamics, specifically the dial selecting area, where you got the standard snow, tow modes, and the automatic, where I'm pretty much going to leave it most of the time. The other fun area is the sport and track mode. That's going to deliver basically different functions for this SRT, and if you've been behind the wheel of one of these, you know what to do. Last thing has to be the launch control. Now what that does is simply press it. It's going to walk you through what to do. Shift it in drive, apply the brake. When it tells you to let go, stomp the gas and pretty much rock it down the road. Swinging around to the second row is pretty much going to look like standard bench styling, but pretty much there's good comfort back here, really sculpting on both sides and not too bad of a hump in the middle. Now again, legroom numbers is only about 2 inches less than the front. Now as for cargo, transforming this over, it's made real easy. Simply use the lever on the side and it's going to tumble forward. Even better is the headrest automatically tucks away, allowing you to really lay this flat. As for the seam between the back and the front, well, that's covered up with this nice covering. With any SUV like this that may deliver some children down the road, one thing you want to have is backseat entertainment. The way they do that on this particular model is with the dual TVs. Now what's great is each TV can be independent when it comes to entertainment. The way they do that is through HDMI connections or standard composite connections as well. That's going to allow you to hook up different things to each TV, allowing different children to provide their own entertainment. One thing that helps with any of the entertainment connections is of course power supply. Now what's great is you have the old standard house outlet here, and you do have USB connections because those phones definitely need to be charged. You also have heated seats for the outside occupants and some nice vent controls here in the middle. Now in any SUV, I refer to this as the business end, but really that front is doing all the work. Now what you have back here is standard procedure for any SUV, delivering that cargo. But first, let's look on the outside. What you're going to notice is a nice extended rear spoiler, huge back glass. Now one thing I wish we could do is get rid of this slightly ugly adornment, maybe tuck it up underneath here, give it some more automation and make this a little bit sleeker. As for the rest of the design, pretty much body color all the way around, bringing those black accents as well back here, and we'll get into some other points once I open this up. Now what I like here on the SRT is this is clearly nice and easy. What that's going to do is rise to the occasion, really allowing it to get out of the way fairly quickly. Now overall you're going to find some decent height, allowing even my frame to sneak inside. As for the cargo volume, you're looking around about 36 cubic feet of space in a nice carpeted area. With all the seating laid flat, it's going to be about double what you see here. Diving a little bit closer into the cargo area, let's look at the kind of inner workings. First thing to notice is this tonneau cover. Nice rod, typical placement here. This is going to allow you to secure all your items. And what I like about this is it is somewhat flexible, and when you remove it, it is somewhat small versus those hard tonneau covers we see on some of the latest vehicles really make it cumbersome to get out of the way. Now when this is tucked out of the way, what you're going to access is pretty much a huge cargo floor. What you're also going to notice is these nice rails right through here. Now, one thing about that is they're going to wear over time depending on what you put in here, making them kind of big scraping points versus a fully carpeted version. Now, what you're also going to notice is some hanging here and there. This vehicle is very sporty on the outside, but still utilitarian. One thing I would like to change is right through here. Very rubber cladded, everything perfect, but as you get a little bit further out here, the bumper itself has nice rubber, but there is that black glossy accent. Now, what I also found was this is a somewhat scraping point, meaning as you take things in and out, again, because that's what this vehicle is designed to do, you're going to find some scrape points here that you're going to need to touch up over the years. Even though you have run flat tires at the four corners, one place you want to have a backup is right underneath the cargo, and shockingly enough, there is one here. Now, what you're going to find is a huge full-size option, and around it is some nice little niches to put things here and there. But everything you need in case of a flat is right here when you need it. Small SUVs can't stack up to a vehicle like this, specifically when it comes to this rear hatch. This alone, with the height, my 6-foot frame, I'm able to get underneath here. One thing you'll notice with that is the vertically challenged is going to have a hard time reaching this for one, and if the button to motorize this is found up here as well, that may be difficult. But what's great with Jeep, well, they've located it here on the side. That's going to make the operation of this back hatch so much easier, well, and convenient. That does for this sport edition of Road Warrior and our test drive behind the wheel of the fast 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT. Now, that's a mouthful, but definitely a full throttle option. Again, delivering that huge Hemi under the hood. 0 to 60 numbers that, of course, are neck snapping for any SUV, but again, it still delivers sport utility qualities. Maybe in this particular model, a little more fancy. Now, as always, thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. Keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.